I need you to imagine something. Imagine you wake up one morning and the world feels different, heavier. It's like the air is thicker, your thoughts more chaotic, and every interaction feels like it drains you. You try to shake it off, but deep down, there's a knowing. A quiet whisper that something is off, not just out there but within you. And then a question hits you like a flash of lightning. What if I've spent my whole life living below my true frequency? That's where we begin this journey. Because most people, perhaps even you, will never raise their vibration not because they can't, but because they don't know what's truly holding them back. Let's be clear. Raising your vibration is not about pretending to be happy or forcing positive thoughts. It's not about vision boards, incense, or chanting mantras while ignoring your inner chaos. It's about facing the truth of who you are, completely and without filter. Most people never do that. They build their lives on distraction, not introspection. They bury their pain so deep that they normalize suffering. And when someone tells them you can transcend this, they smile politely and go back to their routine, because the unknown is terrifying. But here's the paradox. True freedom only exists beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone. You've been taught to chase pleasure and avoid pain. But what if I told you that pain is the compass? That your wounds are sacred, not obstacles? We weren't born to float through life numb and half awake. Every heartbreak, every failure, every quiet night when you felt alone, those were invitations. And yet most people reject them. They numb with food, with entertainment, with substances, with endless scrolling. They trade their potential for temporary relief. Why? Because to sit in silence and face your shadow feels like death. And in a way, it is the death of the false self. And very few are willing to die before they die.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Now ask yourself this: when was the last time you sat with yourself with no distractions and truly listened? No music, no notifications, just the sound of your breath and the rhythm of your thoughts. Most can't last 5 minutes in that space, but that space is the gateway. That's where the vibration begins to shift. Because in that space, you meet the real you, not the identity you perform for others, but the presence underneath. The presence that doesn't need validation or control. The presence that is pure awareness. And yet, that presence is terrifying to the ego because it cannot be manipulated. It just is. Let's go deeper. The reason most people never raise their vibration is because they are addicted to their suffering. They don't know it, but they are. Misery is familiar. Anxiety is predictable. Drama is energizing. There's a twisted comfort in chaos, and the ego loves it. The ego thrives in separation, in comparison, in fear. It whispers lies like, "You're not enough, you'll never get there, they're better than you." And we believe it because we've identified with it for so long. But here's the truth: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness of them. That's a truth most people never realize, and so they stay enslaved to the voice in their head, mistaking noise for truth. Think about this. If you are the thinker of your thoughts, who is the one watching the thoughts? That watcher, that witness is your true self. And that self vibrates at a frequency beyond fear, beyond shame, beyond duality. It's always there, like the sun behind the clouds. But most people are too busy staring at the weather to notice the sky. They identify with the clouds, with the passing moods and stories. And so they suffer. They think the storm is who they are. But the storm is just passing. You are the sky. And once you realize that, everything changes. You begin to see through the illusion of separation. You realize that every person who triggers you is your teacher. Every conflict is a mirror. Every obstacle is an invitation to expand. But this requires radical responsibility, and most people avoid that. They want to blame, to point fingers, to say, "My past messed me up," or "the world is cruel." And yes, life can be brutal, but your power lies not in what happened to you, but in how you respond to it. That's where vibration is either raised or lowered in the micro choices of your awareness. Let me ask you something. What stories are you still telling yourself that keep you small? Maybe it's that you're not smart enough, or that you've made too many mistakes, or that no one really sees you. But what if those stories are just echoes of an old frequency? What if the version of you that believes them doesn't have to be your future? Most people don't question their inner narrative. They just live it out like a script handed to them by their past. But vibration begins to rise the moment you say, "I am not this story. I am the author." That's sovereignty, that's power, and that's rare. Now, let's talk about energy. Everything is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your environment, your relationships, they all emit a frequency. And like attracts like. If you're vibrating at guilt, you'll attract experiences that reinforce guilt. If you're vibrating at gratitude, you'll attract abundance. But most people don't see the connection. They think life happens to them, not through them. They don't realize they are the signal tower, constantly broadcasting their internal state into the field. And the field responds with terrifying accuracy. So the question is, what are you broadcasting right now? Not what you're saying, but what you're feeling. Because the universe doesn't speak words, it speaks vibration. You can't fake it. You can't trick it. You can post affirmations all day, but if deep down you're vibrating at fear, that's what the universe hears. Most people try to manifest from lack. They say, "I want more money," but the vibration is, "I don't have enough." And so they get more of that lack. The secret isn't in the wanting, it's in the being. You must become the frequency of what you desire. And that takes inner work, not outer hustle. Here's the raw truth. Most people would rather stay broke, lonely, or sick than face the discomfort of transformation. Because to raise your vibration, you must let go of everything that doesn't match it. That means relationships that drain you, habits that numb you, thoughts that poison you. And that kind of letting go feels like loss. But it's not. It's a sacred clearing. Being is a return to alignment. But again, that path is narrow and steep, and few walk it. So what's the 10x secret? It's this: your vibration multiplies not by doing more, but by being less reactive, less resistant, less identified with form. The less noise you carry, the more light you emit. The quieter the mind, the louder the soul. And in that stillness, your true frequency emerges, not the frequency of your trauma, but the frequency of your truth. That's where the 10x shift happens. not in effort, but in surrender, not in control, but in connection. The reason most people never raise their vibration is because they seek change without changing. They want the light without facing the dark. They want the reward without the risk. But the universe doesn't work like that. It responds to alignment, not appearances. And alignment requires courage. The courage to feel deeply, and to forgive radically, to love fiercely, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. You see, raising your vibration is not a destination, it's a devotion. A daily return to presence, a constant dying to who you were yesterday. And that level of commitment scares people because it means there's no one left to blame, no excuse to hide behind, just you, naked in your truth. And that's why most people will never do it. But you can. If you're willing to let go of who you think you are, you can become who you truly are. And that version of you, that version can change the world. There's a moment in every spiritual journey when you look around and realize that the world you once knew no longer fits the person you're becoming. It's disorienting. The conversations feel shallow. The goals you once chased feel meaningless. The people you once called friends, some of them now feel like strangers. This is where most people turn back. Because it's easier to shrink to fit your old life than to expand into your new self. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Your vibration will cost you your old life. But your old life was the price of your awakening. We live in a world that rewards conformity and punishes authenticity. From a young age, we're taught to follow the rules, blend in, seek approval. We're conditioned to abandon our inner knowing in exchange for belonging. But raising your vibration requires you to unlearn all of that. It demands that you listen to your intuition louder than the world's opinions. And that's terrifying because most of us were never taught how to trust ourselves. So we outsource our power. We let society, family, religion, and culture decide who we're supposed to be. And then we wonder why we feel lost. What if I asked you right now, who are you when no one is watching? Not your job title, not your personality, not your trauma, not your dreams, but the you underneath it all, the formless awareness. Can you touch that place? Most people can't, because they've spent their entire lives building a mask that the world would accept. And they've worn it for so long, they believe it's their face. But the moment you start to raise your vibration, that mask begins to crack. And what lies beneath is something so real, so raw, so radiant it scares you. Because it means you can no longer hide. Let's go deeper into the energy of vibration. To raise it, you must become emotionally honest. That means facing the full spectrum of your feelings, not just the ones that are easy. Most people suppress their emotions because they were taught that sadness is weakness, anger is dangerous, joy is selfish, desire is shameful. But emotions are energy, and suppressed energy becomes stagnant. It festers. It manifests as physical illness, depression, anxiety, toxic relationships. To raise your vibration, you must liberate that energy. You must feel to heal. You must cry when the tears come. Scream when the rage rises. Laugh when joy bubbles up. And most importantly, you must forgive. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful vibration-raising tools on this planet. not because it changes the past, but because it frees you from it. Most people are energetically tied to the very things they say they've let go of. They carry resentment like armor, thinking it protects them. But in truth, it weighs them down. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's not saying what they did was okay. It's saying, I'm done carrying this pain. It's choosing peace over pride. And that choice is where your vibration begins to soar. You have to understand this. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. You can want abundance, but if you are vibrating in scarcity, you will block it. You can want love, but if you are vibrating in self-hate, you will sabotage it. Wanting is not enough. You must become the frequency of your desire. That means embodying abundance, even when your bank account is low. That means radiating love, even when your heart is broken. That means walking like you are worthy, even when the world tells you otherwise. Because the universe doesn't judge your worth, it reflects your belief. Now let's address a hard truth. Most people are afraid of their own power. They say they want to be free, but they fear the responsibility that freedom brings. Because once you realize your vibration creates your reality, you can no longer blame anyone else. That's heavy. That's maturity. That's spiritual adulthood. And most people would rather stay in spiritual childhood, where someone else is in control: God, fate, the government, their parents. But awakening means owning your frequency. It means standing naked in your truth and saying, "This is me. I create my life." And that level of sovereignty terrifies those who are still addicted to victimhood. So ask yourself, where in your life are you still outsourcing your power? Is it in your relationships, where you wait for someone else to validate your worth? Is it in your career, where you sacrifice your soul for a paycheck? Is it in your health, where you ignore your body's wisdom for comfort or convenience? Every area where you feel powerless is an area where you've abandoned your vibration. And the only way to reclaim it is to stop blaming and start choosing. Every day, every moment, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. There's a secret most people miss. Your vibration is not raised in grand gestures. It's raised in the small, invisible moments, when you choose to breathe instead of react, when you choose presence over distraction, when you choose truth over comfort, when you choose love over fear. These micro choices stack. They become your energy signature. They become your frequency. And over time, that frequency becomes your reality. But most people never see the connection. So they keep making low-frequency choices and wondering why their life feels heavy. Let's talk about triggers. Most people see triggers as bad, something to avoid. But spiritually, triggers are gold. They are your soul's way of pointing to the places where your energy is still trapped. When someone offends you, ask, what part of me feels unseen or unworthy? When you feel jealousy, ask, what dream have I abandoned that this person is reflecting back to me? When you're angry, ask, what boundary have I failed to honor within myself? Every emotional reaction is a breadcrumb to wholeness. But most people judge their emotions instead of investigating them. And in doing so, they miss the invitation to rise. Now let's talk about the body. Your body is not separate from your vibration, it is the vessel that holds and expresses it. Most people want to raise their vibration while ignoring their physical health. They eat poorly, sleep inconsistently, stay sedentary, and wonder why they feel off. Your body is energy. What you eat, how you move, how you rest, it all affects your frequency. If your body is inflamed, your energy will be chaotic. If your gut is unhealthy, your mood will follow. If your nervous system is dysregulated, your intuition will be blocked. Raising your vibration requires holistic alignment, mind, body, spirit. Let me ask you something radical. What if every symptom in your life was sacred? What if your anxiety wasn't a problem, but a message? What if your depression wasn't a weakness, but a doorway? What if your illness wasn't a curse, but a catalyst? Most people want to suppress symptoms instead of decoding them. But your vibration speaks through your body. Listen, don't silence it. Ask it what it needs. Thank it for its wisdom. That's how you build a high-frequency relationship with your vessel. That's how you become a clear channel. We've also got to talk about environment. You cannot raise your vibration in a space that constantly lowers it. That includes toxic relationships, cluttered homes, noisy digital feeds, and environments that drain your soul. Most people surround themselves with low-frequency inputs and expect to feel high-frequency emotions. It doesn't work that way. If you want to fly, you must stop tying yourself to anchors. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Curate your environment like it's your temple, because it is. And if that means walking away from people, habits, or places that no longer resonate, do it. Not from judgment, but from love. Because here's the truth, you can't take everyone with you. When your vibration rises, some people will fall away. Not because they're bad, but because they're not ready. And that's okay. Your journey isn't about convincing others to change, it's about embodying your truth so fully that your very presence becomes a transmission. You don't raise the world's vibration by preaching. You do it by becoming. By being so aligned, so lit from within, that others can't help but rise when they're around you. That's real spiritual leadership, and it's rare. Let me leave you with this question. What would your life look like if you were vibrating at your highest frequency every single day? Not just sometimes, not just when things are easy, but consistently, intentionally, devotionally. What decisions would you make? What relationships would you attract? What impact would you have? Most people never ask that question. And that's why most people never change. But you, if you're still listening, you're not most people. You're remembering. You're awakening. You're rising. Imagine standing at the edge of your old life, staring into the unknown. Behind you is everything familiar, your habits, your beliefs, your wounds, your comfort zone. In front of you, there's nothing but silence, space, possibility. That's what raising your vibration feels like. It's not a leap into certainty, it's a surrender into mystery. And most people will never take that step. Not because they're weak, but because they've been taught that the unknown is dangerous. But what if the unknown isn't the enemy? What if the unknown is where your true self has been waiting all along? You see, most people live according to logic, not energy. They analyze, plan, predict, control. But energy doesn't follow logic. It follows alignment. It follows intuition. It follows resonance. And to live from energy means letting go of the need to always understand. It means trusting the feeling in your gut more than the voice in your head. It means saying yes when it makes no sense on paper, but your soul is screaming go. That's not recklessness, that's spiritual intelligence. And it's rare. Rare because it requires courage. Courage to walk a path that few understand. Here's something no one tells you about raising your vibration: it's lonely. Not forever, but at first. When you shift your energy, the things that no longer match it fall away. That includes people, jobs, routines, even dreams. And in that space of shedding, there's grief, mourning, emptiness. This is the part no one glamorizes. But it's necessary, because nature abhors a vacuum. When you let go of what no longer serves you, the universe rushes in to fill that space with what's meant for you. But first, you must dare to become empty. Let me ask you something most people never ask themselves. Are you willing to be temporarily misunderstood in order to fully become yourself? Because that's what will happen. When you raise your vibration, people will not get it. They'll call you selfish, weird, too intense, too quiet, too distant. They'll project their fear onto your freedom. But you cannot live for their understanding and your truth at the same time. One will always betray the other. So choose. Choose to be real over being liked. Choose to be free over being accepted. That's the path of the awakened. As your vibration rises, your sensitivity will increase. You'll feel everything more deeply: joy, pain, energy, emotions, dissonance. And this is where many people turn back. They think something's wrong. But it's not. It's awakening. It's your system detoxing from a lifetime of numbness. You are no longer tolerating what used to be normal. That's growth. That's evolution. And while it may feel overwhelming, it's actually your greatest gift. Because sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is clarity. It allows you to move through the world with precision, discernment, and grace. Let's talk about intuition. Your vibration and your intuition are deeply connected. The higher your frequency, the clearer your inner voice becomes. But most people don't trust their intuition because it doesn't shout, it whispers. And the noise of the world drowns it out. So to access it, you must quiet the noise. That means unplugging, slowing down, turning inward. It means making space for stillness, because in stillness the truth rises. And when it does, your job is not to argue with it. Your job is to follow it, even when it scares you. Especially when it scares you. The 10x secret, the real one, is that raising your vibration is not about doing, it's about becoming. It's not about adding more, but removing what's false. It's about stripping away every layer of conditioning that told you who to be, how to behave, what to believe. It's about coming back to your essence. And your essence is light. Not light as in love and light memes, but light as in truth, as in power, as in presence. That light is already within you, but it's buried under the noise of the world. Your job is not to find it, it's to uncover it. Here's a radical idea. What if your vibration is your legacy? Not your title, not your accomplishments, not your followers, but your frequency. The energy that stays in the room after you leave. The feeling people get when they think of you. The resonance you imprint on the field. That's real impact. And most people never realize they're broadcasting a frequency 24/7. Every thought, every word, every action, it's all energy. And it all adds up. So the question is, what are you leaving behind? We're taught to chase the external. The house, the car, the body, the money. But those things don't carry vibration, they carry density. The real currency of this universe is frequency. And the people who truly shift the world are not the ones who have the most, they are the ones who are the most present, the most aligned, the most aware. And that kind of beingness can't be faked. It can't be bought. It can only be earned through inner work, devotion, and surrender. Let's talk about surrender. Most people think surrender means giving up. But spiritually, surrender is power. It's the release of resistance. It's saying yes to what is, without collapsing or attaching. It's trusting that life is unfolding for you, not to you. And that level of trust is rare, because it means letting go of control. And control is the ego's favorite drug. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control, the lower your vibration. Because control is rooted in fear, and fear is the lowest frequency. Surrender, on the other hand, is rooted in love, and love is the highest. So ask yourself, where are you still trying to force life? Where are you clinging, grasping, pushing? What would happen if you stopped? If you let go and allowed life to carry you? That doesn't mean passivity. It means aligned action. It means moving from guidance, not panic. It means being in flow, not in fight. And that shift alone, that one energetic pivot, can raise your vibration faster than any ritual, any technique, any course. Now let's talk about service. One of the most powerful ways to raise your vibration is to give. Not from guilt, not from obligation, but from overflow, from joy, from abundance. When you serve others from a full heart, you amplify your frequency. Because giving is an extension of love. And love is the most magnetic force in the universe. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. So your first responsibility is to fill yourself. Not selfishly, but sacredly. Because a lit candle lights 1,000 more. Be that candle. At this point, you may be wondering, is it really possible to live in a high vibration every day? The answer is yes and no. You are human. You will have low days. You will feel pain. You will fall back into old patterns. That's not failure. That's the process. Raising your vibration doesn't mean avoiding the dark. It means moving through it with awareness. It means not identifying with it. It means remembering who you are even when you forget. That remembering, that return, that's the real work. Raising your vibration is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. A commitment to choose love over fear again and again. Being the willingness to be uncomfortable, to be honest, to be real. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. But it's worth it. Because on the other side of that journey is freedom, peace, clarity, power. Not the power that dominates, but the power that radiates. the kind that changes rooms, the kind that heals hearts, the kind that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. So here we are. You've made it to the end of this journey, or maybe the beginning. And now the question is yours to answer. Will you be one of the few who dares to rise? Or will you choose the comfort of the familiar, even if it costs you your soul? You already know the answer. You've always known. It's just been buried under noise. But now, the noise is fading, and the truth is rising. Your vibration is your choice, your path. Own your power. No one can walk it for you. But if you really do, this world will never be the same.